Have you ever wondered how some modern, mostly pop productions sound so full with such loud buzzerings, but when you compress and limit the shit out of the mix, you get that pumping lifeless sound?
Surely there's more to these productions than just a mere compressor. So today we share with you 5 tips on how to compress a mix without using dynamic processors.
In order to understand some of these techniques, we must first clear out what dynamics are, and these are the fluctuations of the volume of a recording in whatever time window we want to analyze. If the time window is too brief, we tend to call them transients. So what we need to do is to bring closer together the lower levels with a higher one.
One use delay. Delay is a really fundamental and extremely versatile effect that in our case can even be used to give us a sense of compression. One way is to use a slight delay up to a couple of milliseconds with a 5% mix. And what this does, especially on bass-heavy instruments, is to smear and prolong the low-end peaks while almost doubling everything else in volume. Beware, though, of the filtering effects that might arise in the upper end of the spectrum.
Another way is to make use of a longer delay that will be combined with the original signal in a correlated way and will boost the low-level information, resulting in a more congested and smooth sound. This delay may not be tempo-based like a slapback delay or tempo-based to repeat a phrase every other bar. Natural. Maybe not, but compressed.
Yeah, pretty much.
2 double tracking, creating layers of the same part will definitely make it sound more consistent in its levels. Quiet details will be augmented and loud peaks will have a small temporal spread, giving us an impression of a small compressed sound. You will find more of such techniques in our lovely episode about double tracking.
If we extend the previous concept, we can also record multiple performers playing the same instruments. Like 2 pianos, 4 or 5 acoustic guitars. It's not an extremely new concept, as it has been implemented since the 60s with Phil Spencer's Wall of Sound. Its initial objective was to make songs stand out in the limited range of the day's AM radio.
Wall of Sound. 3. Record in a small space. Although Grand Hall may exhibit perfect reverberation and have an expansive live sound, a small recording room, on the other hand, can easily be filled with any instrument.
Reflections travel much shorter distances and get incorporated into one dense loud outcome that is not perceived as direct and reverberant field, considering it as using countless teeny delays that, like previously said, but in a much more controlled and natural and non-obvious way. 4. Pick your mics. Microphones impose their character on whatever they record and we can use it to our advantage. For example, a condenser microphone will capture transient way more vividly than a dynamic one, resulting in a much more expanded dynamic range in our captured waveform.
A dynamic moving coil microphone with much more heavy diaphragm will resist extreme movements, resulting in far more controlled dynamics. And just consider that there is not only one microphone used in each song, but a handful of them. Use non-linear effects like overdrive saturators and so on. Dynamic range can be manipulated by using nonlinearities that exist almost in every module of our signal chain and usually are more obvious in the extremes of the dynamic ranges.
For example, we may push a tube mic free to introduce slight distortion and limit the peaks going into a recording medium. We can also use effect units that mimic such behaviors, like a tape emulator, to gradually saturate the signal into smooth tape distortion with the highest peaks. The more percussive a sound, the more aggressive the distortion can be without getting irritating. I almost always win a couple of dBs by using a hard clipper in my rock drums. All in all, there is more to this than just using compressor upon compressor and squeezing every little life left into your recordings.
Try some of these tricks and let us know how it worked for you.
I'm George.
And I am Bill.
And don't drop the mic because its dynamic range will be reduced to infinite.
As usual, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our awesome channel.
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 Merry Christmas.
Merry.